Well, congratulations. Here is your free bonus. This is the 24 tips, tricks, traps, and pitfalls of direct marketing. How to easily and quickly increase the profits of all of your marketing without wasting a dime. Now, as we get going here, what we're going to do is we're going to start by defining our terms. We're going to talk about what we mean by direct response versus institutional marketing. Institutional marketing is normally what you see in newspapers, on the television, in magazines. Everything that you see is pretty much all institutional marketing. And it is a favorite of the advertising company simply because there's no way to measure it. For instance, have a Coke and a Smile or Allstate, the Good Hands people, these things don't really mean anything. They don't tell the customer to do anything. The idea is that somehow if we say this over and over and over, somehow you'll associate that whenever you smile, you'll think of a Coke. It's sort of Pavlovian, and I don't think it works very well. But apparently, companies with way too much money are interested in trying it. So I don't have that much money, and I'm assuming you don't either. I want to make sure that my advertising actually generates income for me. And so that is a direct response. And when we put an offer out there, what's going to happen is we want the client to respond. With institutional marketing, we just throw the money into a bucket and hope to heck that someday, somehow, we'll get it back. Now, when we talk about an offer, that's something to do. They've got to do something to opt in, whether it be calling you, going to a website, clicking on this, anything like that. It's the opposite of cold calling, where we grab a phone book, start at the A's, and start bugging people during their dinner time, offering something that we have no idea whether they'll want or not. And obviously enough, it doesn't work very well. So what we want to do is always craft a specific call to action. We put an offer out there. If they're interested in the benefits, they've got to do something to get those benefits, or to at least investigate, just like you did. We sent you an email saying, hey, if you're interested in this, click here. And you did, and that's why we're talking to you right now. So the nice thing about direct response marketing is that you can measure it exactly. This is not an art so much as it becomes science. And what you can do is you can say that we put this offer out to 5,000 people and X number responded, and then we know whether it's making us money or not. And so in the end result is that response marketing becomes a profit driver, not an expense. See, most people think of advertising as just kind of a necessary expense. We don't. We look at it as this is the way that we can predict our profits in the future. And that really helps you take control of your business. Now, the first tip is to narrow your list. If you start out like I did, and like most people do, is we just kind of buy a list and then we send out a bunch of pieces, or we send out emails or whatever, and we hope to heck like that the stampede will follow. It doesn't work that way. What we really want to do is we don't want to send out thousands and thousands of letters. What we want to do, ideally, is to find 100 people who are absolutely drooling for what we have to offer. Get those letters just to those 100 people and get 97 responses saying yes. That's profitable. Now, obviously, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's the goal. Again, as you remember, the best lists are always a combination of response and compiled lists. Why? It's because response gives us an idea of their buying habits, and compiled list gives us all of their public data. And that, when you invest in that, when you spend a little bit of more money up front with a hyper-responsive list, you'll actually make a huge amount of money in the long run. And you won't waste a lot of time and effort sending stuff that people don't want to people who aren't going to ever do business with you. Now, the next tip is write the copy first. Now, this seems really strange and backwards, and it did to me at first, but top marketers have this funny way of doing things. What they do is they say, I've got a great idea for a marketing campaign. Let's see if people like it, and then we'll go back and we'll build a product that suits their needs. And what that does is that you think that most people think that that puts the cart before the horse, but in fact what it does is it allows you to find out whether you can sell a product first before you go through all the money and the time and the energy of building it, only to find out, oops, nobody wants it. And that's a real frustration. Trick number 3, long copy pulls better than short copy. According to Gary Halbert, who's probably the dean of direct response marketing, there's no such thing as copy that's too long, only copy that's too boring, and that's really important. If you've ever been in a sales presentation, you would never put a stopwatch on yourself and say, I've only got 5 minutes in order to sell this to a customer. No, you take as long as you need in order to make sure that you give a thorough and complete presentation. Well, remember, your copy is a